Greetings, Dr. Mark Winton here from the Department of Criminal Justice at the University of Central Florida, and welcome to the serial murder course. What I'd like to do in this video is briefly discuss Chapter 1, the introduction, the phenomena of serial murder. First, I'd like to point out that the study of serial murder involves an interdisciplinary approach, so we will use materials from criminal justice, criminology, anthropology, sociology, and psychology. Your author defines murder as requiring an illegal taking of another's life, specifically formed around intent. And so when we start thinking about murder, we're going to find that there's various types of murder, and that is explained in the first chapter, such as felony murder, premeditated murder, justifiable homicide, manslaughter, and so on. Your author talks about differentiating mass murder from serial murder. According to the FBI, killing 4 or more persons at one time is a mass murder. And then also it's pointed out that over half of attempted or completed mass murders in the United States are related to domestic homicides. Serial murder is the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offenders in separate events, and that's the 2008 FBI definition, the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offenders in separate events. So you can see how this differentiates from mass murder. In looking at mass murder, Holmes has a very popular classification system looking at the family slayer or annihilator, murder for profit, murder for sex, the pseudo-commando, the set-and-run killer, and the psychotic killer, the disgruntled employee, the disciple-type killer, and the ideological mass murder, and the institutional mass murder. So there we have an excellent classification system that helps us to compare and contrast different types of mass murderers. We can contrast mass murderers to serial murderers, as mass murderers don't seem to be that concerned if they're going to be captured or killed, and we see that some are killed by police or right after the attack, and others kill themselves after they've completed the attack, and some surrender to the police. Also, a mass murder tends to occur around a specific location, such as a school, an office, someone's home, and sometimes you have bifurcation, which is where the offender murders in one location and then moves to another. For example, a mass murderer killed family members at home and then went to a school and killed students and teachers. We did have the concept of spree murder, and that involved a cooling off period, but since researchers and investigators couldn't agree on the cooling off time period, we've dropped that term. Serial killers usually try to avoid detection and kill over longer periods of time, whether that be weeks, months, or even years after, before stopping, dying, or getting caught. So there's a difference with the mass murderers killing usually within a few minutes or hours, and the serial killer killing over longer periods of time. And then your author points out there's a variety of serial murder myths. They are false statements. They are myths. And here are some of the major ones. Serial killers have a particular way of behaving and carrying out their killings. No. Serial killers are similar. Nope. There's actual great deal of variation. All are male. That's not true. They tend to be insane or psychopaths. That is a myth. They are driven to kill due to being sexual abuse victims. That's not true either. They are highly intelligent. Not necessarily. They are always lust killers. Not true. They kill alone. Not necessarily. They cannot stop killing. False. They move around frequently. Another myth. And most of them have a desire to get caught. Not true. Most serial killers kill under 8 victims. Most kill in a local area. Some may wait several years between murders, so obviously they can stop. And about 1 in 4 has 1 or more killing partners. Some are true psychopaths, while others are evaluated and diagnosed not to be a psychopath. What are the primary motivations for serial murder? Your author points out several: anger, criminal enterprise, financial gain, ideology, power, thrill, sexual motivation, psychosis, and I think it's important here to recognize that while there may be a primary motivation, there are combinations of factors related to serial murder. And so this gets us into coming up with these typologies, looking at the motivation and some of the factors that are related. The FBI came up with the organized-disorganized dichotomy, and that really was popular for a while. But now we're seeing that there are serial killers who don't fall on the organized or the disorganized ends of the continuum. They fall somewhere more of a mixed. So we're moving away from the organized-disorganized dichotomy and looking at the degree of organization of a particular serial killer. And I also wanted to point out that the Holmes and Holmes typology of serial murder is very helpful in beginning our research and our classification system. The visionary, mission-oriented, hedonistic, and power control-oriented. So this is just a brief overview of Chapter 1, kind of an introduction to the course, and I'd like to welcome you all to the course. Thank you.